Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Who is the little girl?
Which of, 4 answers would you like?
What's going on in Silent Hill?
Which of, 4 answers would you like?
What is the point of this intro?
Which of, 4 answers would you like?
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Story Time is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and this is our third of 4 movies that are about, they're horror movies with interdimensional
Stuff.
travels, beings, creatures, whatever.
Whatever it may be,
Sometimes
be these.
people go there, sometimes things come here, whatever, but they're from alternate universi.
They're certainly not from here.
Right. So this is our third one, Silent Hill. It's also a video game
A
movie.
long-running game series.
There's not 4 horror video game movies yet, but they're getting closer when Five Nights at Freddy's comes out soon.
Doom.
That's not really a horror movie, though.
Okay, the game was supposed to kind of be.
No. And what was the other one that they had, too? There was one a while back. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is...
Comment down below if you know a video game horror movie.
Yeah, there we go. Well, the one that was a Sega thing.
Oh, House of the Dead?
Yeah, which was
Don't
awful.
watch that movie.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that one. Anywho, here's the basic premise. There was this video game, and a guy liked it, and he said, "Can I make a movie?" No.
Basically. And
No.
they said no. So he did.
Well, sort of. No, there's a mom and a dad. They adopted a girl. She's from an area that has this mysterious town called Silent Hill. They don't know that she's from there. They just know she's
She's
from
from
that
the state.
And she keeps, sleepwalking or something, and she kind of starts screaming in her half-sleep. Silent Hill. So the mom decides to take her there. And a lot of weird things happen.
Both on the way there and once she's there.
Yeah, basically.
From the moment you start the movie, weird stuff basically starts happening.
Yeah, and right up till the end. It's weird. Now, we will tell you, we're reviewing this with no whatsoever
Almost
information of the games, because
Yes.
we never really played them. He played a free sample game that never
amounted to anything. And it became a legend online.
But other than that, we don't know any of... So we were going into this with none of the lore. So if we like it better than people who know the show, that's why.
Game.
If we hate it more... that's what I meant. And if we hate it, same thing.
Right. It's completely not based on because we watched it.
Last of Us is not a movie, but
It's not
at
good.
least live action.
People are really liking that show, and I did not.
Well, I never gave it a shot. I know you like the games. Anyway, so Silent Hill, that's basically the premise. A bunch of weird stuff happens while she tries to find her little girl, because she brings her to this town, and then the girl disappears, and then there's a bunch of weird, dark priests and priestesses and
creatures and fog and whatever.
So that's basically it. let's roll the trailer so those
That
who...
you also know what we're
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about.
Honey, sometimes when you go to sleep, you go on a little walk. And sometimes you talk about a place.
I don't remember.
That's why we're gonna go there. So you can remember.
Sharon! Sharon! Somebody! Help!
Christopher, Sharon's gone. I need your help. I'm not okay. Please, hurry.
The fire started 30 years ago.
I don't know what's happening. Do you know what's going on here?
This place is completely cut off.
Only the dark one opens and closes the door to Silent Hill.
Where is she? I'm trying to find my wife.
She looks exactly like Sharon.
Why? Rose, come on! Rose, hurry! It's coming!
What's happening?
Oh!
To find your daughter, you must face the darkness of hell.
It's okay, baby. Mommy's coming.
Anyway, yeah. So we're talking while the trailer's going. Before we get into our behind-the-scenes information, we would like to give a shout-out to our actual sponsors that really exist, and you can pay for goods and services.
Pay, whatever, participate.
Because they pay us lots of money, and we are now rich. Can't you tell?
I got this shirt printed personally, so I'm pretty rich.
How much did it cost?
Less than $20.
Right. Anyway, this week, Gory Story Time is brought to you by Interdimensional Cable. Why watch the same old shows and movies when you can watch versions from other worlds? Interdimensional Cable gives you access to great entertainment that's similar to ours, but not quite the same. Do you like The Big Bang Theory? Then you should like Four Geeks and a Girl. Do you enjoy Friends? Try Acquaintances. Let's not forget movie night. If you like Nightmare on Elm Street, we have Dream Killer and our famous alternative to Transformers, GoBots. Interdimensional Cable, because 1,000 channels and 25 streaming services just isn't enough.
Correct. And by Pong the Movie. With so many video game movies being made because of hits like Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario Bros., and Mortal Kombat, we dug deep to bring you the first big home video game hit. You've never seen special effects like the ones in Pong the Movie. Rated R, not for violence or language, but because that's the only way we can get younger kids to want to watch what is ostensibly table tennis. Pong the Movie, because screw it, why not?
All right. That's a good catch, like, tagline.
Screw it, why not? Yeah.
Screw it, why not? You know how many things I've done in my life because that was my attitude? It's like, do you want to do this dumb thing? Screw it, why not?
All things?
All right. Do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Huh?
You can go first.
Okay. Oh, wait. We didn't do the thing. Now we get into the behind-the-scenes information. Or
This
as he
piece
likes
of paper is made out of meat.
No, as he likes to call it, the meat and beef of the show.
Or as I like to call it, the meat and beef of the show. This paper is made out of meat.
You're an idiot. It took director Christoph Gans 5 years to get the rights to make the film. He was given the rights after he sent Konami a video of an interview describing how much Silent Hill meant to him. Along with the interview, he sent scenes that he filmed on his own dollar, cut up and overlaid with music from the games.
Pretty cool. The strange stumbling movements of dark nurses when they first come alive was created by filming them walking backwards, then running the film in reverse.
Around 100 copies of Rose's outfit were made, starting with soft summery colors, and as the movie progressed, they became grayer and eventually blood red. The change in outfits was so subtle, most people didn't notice.
I couldn't have told you that was happening.
But it went from soft summery colors to like blood red by the end.
That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Centralia, Pennsylvania was the inspiration for the movie adaptation of the game Silent Hill. In researching different elements of Silent Hill, screenwriter Roger Avery came across the town of Centralia, Pennsylvania, an almost abandoned town with a 40-year-old coal fire burning underneath it.
So it fit. Roberto Campanella, when playing Pyramid Head, wore 15-inch heels to make him close to 7 feet tall.
Many of the creatures in the film were played by dancers so they could be flexible enough to create the required disturbing movements.
In the witch burning picture in the church, crew members for the movie were painted as spectators watching the burning. Take a sip when I'm talking. Don't be sipping when it's your turn. Go.
To add to the accumulated filth caused by her character's journey through Silent Hill, Radha Mitchell did not wash her hair through the entire filming.
Due to the nature of the Silent Hill film and the fact that Jodelle Ferland was only 10 years old at the time of filming, writer Roger Avery apologized to her parents if she should have any signs of mental trauma.
Apart from Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, every piece of music is directly from the game series.
In the beginning of the film, when Rose is running frantically to try to find Sharon, she runs through a tunnel. On the tunnel walls is graffiti spelling out the name Cheryl. Cheryl is the name of Sharon's character in the game. Like, why change that? So
Alice Craigie, Craigie's personality as Christabella was so dominant that other actors and extras responded to her commands on the set.
Alice Craigie wore blue contacts during filming. This was done to match the eye color of Jodelle Ferland and Deborah Kara Unger, since they were supposed to be family.
One of the stores visible in the movie version of Silent Hill is called MT Rooms. An inside joke referring to the fact that in both film and the games, most of the structures are mere facades with nothing behind them. Empty rooms.
Right. Radha Mitchell, who played Rose, got punched in the face by one of the dark nurses during the filming in the basement of the hospital. So, like, a real punch.
Wow. Silent Hills College visited by Rose is called Midwich. Midwich is the fictional town from Village of the Damned based on the original novel, The Midwich Cuckoos.
Cuckoos?
Cuckoos.
Not cuckoos.
Well,
cuckoos.
That's spelled weird. Written by John Wyndham and published in 1957.
And that's how you spell cuckoo, like cuckoo clock. But okay. Filming in Brantford, Ontario, Canada lasted 4 days. The decaying downtown strip that was used for most of the film is a section of Colburn Street that was picked as such because not many modifications were needed, as that area of the downtown was already in a state of decay and considered mostly abandoned buildings that could be dressed easily for filming.
Jodelle Ferland stated in interviews that Dark Alessa was her favorite of her 3 Silent Hill characters to portray.
The version we see in theaters was the one that Christoph Gans wanted us to see. He said in an interview that the studio executives loved his version and he was never asked to cut down the film length.
Huh. The theater in Silent Hill is playing a double feature of Vincent Price vehicle, The Last Man on Earth, and its remake, The Omega Man, starring Charlton Heston. Both these films were based on Richard Matheson's story, I Am Legend.
So was I Am Legend, by the way.
Really? And that explains why, when we watched it on the Blu-ray, there were no deleted scenes.
Right, because it was the version
he wasn't told to delete.
And the ones he deleted, he didn't want. All right, now's the time we like to give the rating as per Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, for those who don't know yet, it's a site that it's an aggregate where they take all the known critics that they can find, and they just break it down to, is it a positive or a negative review? And then they give you a percentage of them. The percentage they give you is the positive reviews. So the lower it is, the less
positively it was reviewed. Yes.
And what do
the critics
have it at?
Have this at a 33%, which means 77% did not like this movie.
These are not critic-loved things. No. The people, on the other hand, have it at 63%, making it fresh. It's still not great, but it's fresh, meaning worth watching according to
the fans.
Yeah. Or the people.
The audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was your... Now, which one should we do first? Least favorite? Because we ended up liking it.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So your least favorite...
So right at the very beginning of the movie, they have the decent opening scene where she decides, I'm going to bring her to Silent Hill. So she's going to bring her to Silent Hill. She's in her car after a weird interaction with a cop at a... What's the thing called? Gas station.
Yeah.
She's driving, and the cop had left the gas station, followed them down the road, and pulled them over. The cop gets off of her bike, walks up to the window, and she looks over to her daughter and says, "Fasten your seatbelt," and then steps on the gas for virtually no reason.
Like, there was no reason for the cop to have pulled her over, and there was nothing she was doing wrong to want to escape
my
from
understanding
the cop.
of that is the cop was pulling her over to warn her about
probably
Silent Hill, because
but she never
she had done that with
out.
the others
well,
that went off this road. She was making sure that these two were being safe.
Well, because she found a kid there, remember?
Yeah.
They said later. So she just wanted to make sure, hey, you got a kid, like, don't go there.
Don't go there.
My least favorite part probably has to be that there's so many... Like, I don't mind having a lot of references to the games. That's a good thing for fans. But it's not the easiest story to follow if you don't know the lore. They don't really answer a lot of the questions that the games apparently do.
Right.
And they have to... I know it's a fine line.
And it also adds questions because of things that they don't...
Mario Brothers, as an example of a video game movie, like the animated one.
The new one, yeah.
Was it Illumination did it?
I think it was Illumination.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
No.
Because we don't get sponsored by movies, trust me. But they had a lot of references to other things, but the story itself, you don't need to have played all of the Mario games to get. You won't get some of the references, but those are just Easter eggs for the fans. The story itself is self-explanatory, and you don't need...
It's new, but it's also the same, you know?
Like, they explained it well enough that if you didn't know the video games, you could still watch. Like, my dad never played a single video game in his life. He could sit down and watch that movie and understand it. He probably wouldn't like it, but he would understand it.
He really wouldn't care.
Right. So I think having them there and then not explaining most of the plot.
Yeah.
They're just like, here's some weird stuff that you're going to go, why? Unless you played the games, which I did not.
Correct. Yeah.
What was your favorite thing?
So my favorite scene, ironically speaking, is something that shouldn't have come in until the second one anyway.
Okay.
But Pyramid Head is one of the villains from the games, and he shows up sometimes just to kind of be spooky in this movie. And he's outside when they're running for their lives from something, and he grabs this woman by her skeleton, it seems, because he rips off her clothes in one full swoop, and then her skin, like it's a bag, just directly off of her bones, and he throws the rest of her muscly skeleton down to the ground.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool.
It was disgusting
and kind of cool.
A
little Terrifier-ish, considering
Terrifier used almost 100% like
real
practical. And
yeah.
That was absolutely 100% computer generated, but
I think my favorite thing had to be the cop then that we were talking about ends up going into the town, and like she's like going to arrest the woman because she did take off and all that. But then when things came down to it and they were being attacked by these people, creature, whatevers, she did what she could to let the mom go so she could go find her daughter, and stayed back basically knowing it was going to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
Without spoiling, like, there's more to it than that. But, like, as far as she's concerned, I'm going to die. You find your damn daughter and get out of here.
Right. Which is totally heroic and awesome.
Yeah, and it was just, like, a really good heroic scene for this character, which was immediately followed by we saw her being beat down and then it cut away.
Yeah.
But, like, she went from, I'm going to arrest you and I don't care what your excuse is, to go get your daughter and get the hell out of this place.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Oh, yeah. A side note, that cop lady was played by the actress who played Andrea on The Walking Dead.
Yes. So
favorite,
rather attractive for people that are into, like, hot blondes. Not everyone is, but,
And yeah. Yes, and okay. What's the next thing? Our ratings.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what
On
would
a
you rate
scale
this
from 1
movie?
to 10. So
1 being like kicked squaw in the nuts, and
Definitely
10
wasn't that.
being, something else happening to them. You wouldn't know.
So I'm gonna give this movie a 7.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 5, and I would probably go with a 7 because I liked it. But the fact that I had to do a bunch of research to know anything that I had watched,
Yeah, basically.
bothered me.
I get that.
Like-
But those 2 points that would be removed for your score, I'm giving it because it did what I'm assuming the guy was trying to do.
Have a bunch of stuff connect to the...
Make people want to play the game. Because moviegoers who had never watched or read or looked up on or played any of the games would watch that and say, what? And then they'd go get the game and they'd play the game.
I wonder if even
like
though
it's a love
wasn't
letter to the games.
That's
by
what
a
it seemed
huge
like.
fan.
And since I don't know that stuff, that bummed me out because, tell me
once
what's going on.
Once I crank through all 700
Nobody saw
hours,
the '90s version of the Mario Brothers and
I
said
thought this was a love letter to the characters and the
no.
games.
It was like, oh, this is someone that heard about Mario Brothers while high
on meth.
Yeah, and then when they sobered up, wrote down what they thought they remembered. But that's a different thing. All right, that's about it for this one, then, huh?
I
So why
suppose
don't you throw it over to that stuff and we'll get out.
Yeah. Fact TV. You can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1082, Thursdays at 30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook. And like I always say, when I say like us, I mean us and Fact TV.
Yes. You can go to www.factdate.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this, as well as thousands of hours of entertainment, board meetings, whatever you want.
And you can follow us on X, which is what most people are now or nobody is calling Twitter, actually. Like, it's
Nobody's
officially
calling
been
it
changed
that.
but like even the icon on my phone still says Twitter.
The icon still says Twitter, and when I get sent a link from it, it says twitter.com.
Right. So, whatever. But you can follow me. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase, and I do not tweet anything that's really relevant to the show.
Or often.
That's true.
You can follow me. I'm at Jiggly Fernbrain. I also don't tweet about the show unless he talks about the show, because I tweet things that he says.
And the things are in or out of context, whichever, makes it funnier to him.
Yes.
Usually out, but not
usually
always.
out.
Not always.
He's usually out.
Sometimes it makes it look even more, oh my word, what is wrong with this guy, if you know the context. Like,
sometimes.
That made him say this? Yeah. Also, check out on YouTube, if you type in Gory Story Time, the 2 pages that'll come up is the Fact TV page and the Gory Story Time page. The episodes are posted on either, but, just give a like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards to both. Why not? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell and
comment.
Yeah.
That thing I said earlier.
All those things that make it so that, well, we still don't make any money off it. But hey.
But
all right, that's it for this week. Next week we're going to finish off our 4 for 4.
But
movies.
if our very all over the place review interested you enough to have wanted to see this movie, it's streaming like everywhere apparently.
Yeah, sure.
So go watch this movie. I miss saying that whenever it was that. So
okay.
You should say that.
And I was in the middle of saying something, and now I lost my place because you started talking over me. So, next week we'll finish with our 4th and final movie in our topic of interdimensional things.
Stuff.
And, yeah.
And until then.
There we go.
Until next week, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and
sweet dreams.
Shout Factory TV, changing the channel.
What?
Phantasm. The delusion.